This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine.
Go ahead, do it.
I don't have the thing in front of me.
Neither do I.
Hey.
That's realized I didn't have the script.
I am not your host, Dan, but it is an all Benchwarmers affair for our teams tonight. Looks like we have Matt and Scott versus myself, and I think Mason is here. I hear his voice, but I don't see him anywhere. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But first of all, we have a guest host tonight, and it's someone who we've heard many times before. Ian Hollenberg, how are you tonight? It's good to see you.
It's good to be back for time number 7, my 4th as a host, 3 times as a player. I'm doing well and looking forward.
All right, since you're on your 7th show right now, give us your favorite athlete who was number 7. Go.
Ooh, that's a good one. So there's a number 7 who played shortstop for the Mets in the mid-2000s, and I can't really say him anymore. So I will go with another New York number 7, Carmelo Anthony.
All right. Sounds good. So, Matt, Scott, how are you doing? Who's got the team name?
I'm fine. There's and our team name is mainly based off of before the episode AFL discussion. But should I tell my story real quick about my shoulder?
Oh, it was your shoulder.
Yes, my shoulder. Yeah. So I years ago, wife asked me when I was a little inebriated why Brad Radke wasn't playing for the Twins and why he was on the IL or something. And I said that he had a torn, it was a word that was very close to labrum, but it was a lady parts word that started with the L also. I don't know. Should I say it or no? Probably no. Yes or no?
Vulva?
Yeah. Anyway, so I found out this morning after I had an MRI yesterday that I also have a torn labrum, not a torn labia. So there you go. But I'll hand it over to Scott for how he's doing in our team name.
I'm doing well. Just ready to podcast, excited. We'll see how Matt and I do. I think statistically speaking, I'm not an analytics guy or anything, but
if only we had one on the podcast right now.
I know. It'd be better to let us know how we do as a team. But prior to the recording, Matt and Dan were doing their patented AFL
conversation
chatter.
I'm not sure it's patented at this point.
I heard some things that I knew. There were some names that I heard. One of the names that Matt said was something about Dangerfield being out, and so
Patrick Dangerfield.
I asked him if it was Rodney Dangerfield. It wasn't, but then we got on Rodney Dangerfield a little bit, and David couldn't get off him, and it was a whole thing. Whole thing. So, in light of that, we decided our team name for tonight will be Highway to the Dangerfield.
I love how this is the second time before we started recording, and now David's not even here, and he's caught shade 2 times already.
Used to it, buddy.
Yep.
So I had a wonderful experience today. I got to go watch my son in his first official football practice. He started playing this year for the first time in 8th grade. Probably going to be his only year the way it's going right now. But
oh yeah,
I mean, they don't cut in 8th grade. They do cut in 9th grade. If you understand what I'm stepping in there. But it was nice to see him out there and actually trying something like this. He passed me in height already, and he's getting up there in weight too. So he's a big kid playing on the offensive line, and it's nice to see him trying something other than a video game. It's nice.
That's cool.
Mason has our team name tonight, so we're gonna throw it on over to Mason, who I think is there.
Yeah, yes, I think I'm here too. I'm not some disembodied voice. So yeah, my camera's not working. It just unexpectedly is not working. It's not even letting me click on it. I don't even understand why. So, but yeah, today's been kind of an eventful day overall. So I basically told the entire world that my wife was pregnant. So that's fun. So it'll be somewhere around March, April-ish. I don't know when. We'll find out. When it gets close to that point. I'm starting to teach tomorrow, so that's fun as time recording. So first day is tomorrow, and that's always fun. And I may have accidentally given myself food poisoning. We're going to find out.
May I ask how we're going to find this out?
I don't think you're going to find out, unfortunately.
Hopefully not on the pod.
You won't be able to see it anyway.
Oh, we'll be able to hear it though.
It's an audio medium, right? Yeah. But yeah, so in honor of that and the fact that my camera's not working, our team name is going to be Technical Difficulties.
All right.
Dan's son passed him in height, and in about 2 years, Mason's kid will pass Marcus.
Oh,
Wow.
Marcus catching shade now.
What did
wow.
Marcus do?
Jeez.
All right. Well, now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's kick it on over to Future Past Me for the rules. The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway. Thank you, Dan. That was wonderful. I was being nice to myself. You can say what you want. I don't care. I can take it. All right. So, Ian, we are going to hand the ship over to you. It's in your capable hands. Let's see what you do with it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Dan. Today's first quarter will be 5-on-3.
Five on 3. For this quarter, there will be 3 categorized lists containing 5 items, where each item is worth 10 points. The teams will attempt to guess as many items as they can. However, if a team has an incorrect guess, they will receive 0 points for that list.
All right. Question 1. Name the 5 MLB players with the most home runs from opening day 2019 through today.
Ian, we're going to check in.
All right. Highway to the danger field is checking in. So technical difficulties, you can talk it out.
So, Mason, do you want to go all 5 on this?
Boy, I don't know.
We have a history of getting 4 and then saying the 5th one and not actually checking in with it. I don't know. I think Alonso is definitely on the list.
Right. Along with Judge and Ohtani. Ohtani's got to be.
You said Matt Olson, and I said yes, absolutely.
Because I'm pretty sure if he's not in the lead, but I'm pretty sure he's not too far off right now.
Then the other name that you said that is the only other name that I think that we've said so far that could be on here would be Schwarber.
Right. And he's kind of the same situation, but he had close to 50 last year. I'm pretty sure he was up there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, then we said like Mookie Betts and
Arenado.
Yeah, Arenado, Manny Machado, even. But I don't like any of those names.
No. Oh man. The question is, how many do we want to put on here? I mean, I have 3 for sure. The question is, which one do you feel better about between Olson and Schwarber?
Olson.
Okay, I'm with you. It's kind of hard to leave Schwarber off because I know he had, like I said, almost 50. And if this goes back to 2019, that would be when he was still in Chicago and he was still putting up good numbers there. So that's,
you know what? It's the first question of the game. Let's do it. If we have to come back, we can come back. Okay, let's do it. Let's do those 5.
Okay.
We're going to check in Alonso, Judge, Ohtani, Olson, and Schwarber.
All right. Highway to the danger field. Your response?
We had all of those same names. I think Mookie Betts is sneaky because he has gotten over 30 consistently in that time span. Oh yeah, we threw out all the other names as those guys, as well as, a Paul Goldschmidt and Alex Bregman. I threw out our Jorge Soler. Jorge Soler had 40 plus for the Royals in that span. He has a lot again this season. And then Vlad Jr. also had like a 45 homer season. He's been consistently around 28 to 35 since then. But we wanted to play it safe. We weren't entirely positive on Vlad or on Schwarber, so we checked in with Judge, Ohtani, Olson, and Alonso.
Great. Both teams receiving points. Nicely
Hey.
done.
Ooh, good job, guys.
All right.
Nice, Mason.
Number one, by a good margin, was Pete Alonso with 179 home runs. Know your host, was not intentional that I chose 2019 as the start date for this question. Number two is Matt Olson with 162 home runs in the span. Number three was Aaron Judge with 157 home runs. Number four was Kyle Schwarber. Tied for third was Kyle Schwarber, also with 157 home runs. And then number five was Shohei Ohtani with 145 home runs. The next five were Eugenio Suarez had 142 home runs.
Jeez, didn't think about him.
Nolan Arenado had 136 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Mookie Betts had 134 home runs. Rafael Devers had 134 home runs. And
Devers.
Max Muncy had 131 home runs. So that rounds out the top 10. Nicely done, both teams. All right, question 2. Name the last 5 unique conferences to produce a number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft based on current conference affiliations. So not when these players played, not future conference realignment, whatever the heck is going on right now in college sports, just based on current conference affiliation.
All right, we'll check in.
All right. Technical difficulties is checking in. Highway to the danger field. You can talk this one out.
Well, SDC is the obvious one, right? Because they're Barrow, Lawrence, et cetera, et cetera.
Then we got
Big 12,
Baker Mayfield with Big 12.
Pac 12 with Goff,
Yep.
I think is in there. I think this may go back to Winston. So that's ACC.
Okay.
And then I would think wherever Eastern Michigan is, right? Because Eric Fisher.
Eastern Michigan. Jeez. The MAC?
Yeah. Right? Because I don't think there's anyone after that we're missing as far as, because I can't think if there's anyone from the Big Ten, right? That seems like the conference that we're missing.
Okay. Well, let's check in then with SEC, Big 12, Pac 12, ACC, and the MAC.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
All right. And technical difficulties, your answer?
Yeah, we pretty much went through a similar logic. Only thing Scott got wrong is Central Michigan, but that doesn't really matter. All the Michigan schools are about the same anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, we went with the same 5: SEC, ACC, Big 12, Pac 4 in the future, but Pac 12 now, and MAC.
The Pac 4.
Both teams are receiving points. So working backwards, the most recent conference to have a number 1 overall pick is the SEC with Bryce Young in 2023. And the next was the ACC with Trevor Lawrence in 2021. And after that was Big 12 with Kyler Murray in 2019, who played for Oklahoma. And then next was Pac 12 with Jared Goff and Cal in 2016. And then, as Mason mentioned, next is the MAC with Eric Fisher from Central Michigan in 2013. So nicely done to both teams.
I think you have to go all the way back to Jake Long for the Big Ten.
I believe so, yeah.
And then before that,
Was that David Carr,
David
maybe?
Carr, probably,
Yeah.
Mountain West.
Yeah, I think that's correct. All right, question 3. Name the last 5 second-round NBA draft picks by draft date to be named to an All-NBA team.
Okay, we're going to check in.
All right, cool. Technical difficulties checking in. Highway to the danger field. You can talk this one out.
Obviously, Jokic is one, but like Draymond Green, he's not making an All-NBA. And then I just don't know if it goes back far enough for like a Manu Ginobili or a Michael Redd. Those guys were drafted a long time ago. So, and I'm also thinking Husky legend Isaiah Thomas, perhaps, but I just don't know if he made an All-NBA team either because there's a lot of good guards. So, let's just play it safe. I only feel confident on 2, Matt. So we're gonna check in with Nikola Jokic and Chris Middleton.
All right. Technical difficulties.
I'm liking Chris Middleton now that you say that. I had not even thought about him, which kind of concerns me because there's a name on here that goes a little back. So Jokic right away is the easy one. Scott, you dismissed Draymond, but I thought he made one right when the Warriors were really big, like 16, 17.
It wouldn't surprise me, but it also like it wouldn't because of the team and they got all
Right.
the clout. But
Yeah.
so many good forwards, it's hard to justify it.
Yeah. I know he's a second rounder because there's that famous video where he names all the people ahead of him. So I knew he was a second rounder from that. I'm pretty sure Isaiah Thomas made a third team or second team. I know he's the last pick of the second round. And the one I wasn't sure about, because this goes back a little bit, but I'm pretty sure he's a second rounder and he made one, is DeAndre Jordan. So we checked in with Jokic, Draymond Green, Isaiah Thomas, and DeAndre Jordan as our 4.
All right. One team is receiving points. I'm going to go in reverse chronological order. So the most recent player, second rounder to make an All-NBA team, or by draft date, is Nikola Jokic from the 2014 draft. Next is Draymond Green from the 2012 draft. Jokic made 5 in a row, has made 5 in a row the past 5 years. Draymond Green made 2 in 2016 and 2017. And then after that is Isaiah Thomas from the 2011 draft, who made 1 All-NBA team in 2017. And then after that, you have 2 players from the 2008 draft. You have Goran Dragic, who made an All-NBA team in 2014. And then you have DeAndre Jordan from the 2008 draft, who made 3 straight All-NBA teams from 2015 to 2017. So nicely done. Technical difficulties.
Wow, Mason, good job.
I knew it was going to be close. That's why I was worried about it.
Yeah. Chris Middleton's never made an All-NBA team.
That's crazy that Draymond has made 2 and Chris Middleton hasn't made 1, especially he had a season where he shot like 50% from the field, 40 from 3, 90 from free throw, average over 20. Wow.
Matt, score update.
Oh, so yep. After the first quarter, technical difficulties has 140 points, and Highway to the Dangerfield has 90 points.
We wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
All right. Today's second quarter will be David versus Goliath.
David versus Goliath. This quarter will consist of 3 pairs of questions, 1 easier, David, and 1 harder, Goliath. After hearing both questions, the teams will pick one of the 2 questions to answer, either David or Goliath. Each David question is worth 25 points, and each Goliath question is worth 50 points.
So today's David versus Goliath as a theme. I will name either a championship winning or a championship losing team and a year. And you have to name the only player on that team to be in their Sports Hall of Fame. So if I said the 2003 Florida Marlins, the answer would be Ivan Rodriguez. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Wow.
So all of these teams have exactly one player who is in their Sports Hall of Fame.
Wait,
You have
no,
to name that one player.
Wait, they're
their
sports. Hall of Fame,
sport.
not the
Correct.
team.
Yeah, so in
Correct.
the Major
So
League
the
Baseball
sport.
Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Not
Correct.
in the Florida
Exactly.
Marlins Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Cool. And just one other caveat: managers or coaches don't count. So if that team's manager or coach is in the Hall of Fame, it doesn't count. Actually, players that were on that team's roster.
Got it.
Awesome. All right. Ready for question 1?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Question 1. David, 2001 Arizona Diamondbacks. Goliath, 2010-11 Boston Bruins.
Ian, we're gonna check in.
All right. Highway to the Dangerfield is checking in. Technical difficulties. You can talk it out.
All right. Like I said before, I'm pretty positive that this is Mark Recchi. And and you asked me if that was like the end of his career, and I'm pretty sure it was. I think he won the cup and then retired. I'm just trying to remember if he is in the Hall of Fame. I think he is. I mean, we can go with Randy Johnson, but I feel 80% on Recchi.
Well, then I like the EV of that, so we can go with it.
All right. We're going to check in the Goliath with Mark Recchi.
All right. Technical difficulties checking in with Mark Recchi. Matt and Scott, your answer?
Yeah, when it comes to the Bruins, the very first name I wrote down was Mark Recchi, and there's Patrice Bergeron that Sean
think you said
Thornton
Berg.
was on. Oh, I wrote Bergman. Yeah, I meant Bergeron. And Tim Thomas was their goalkeeper, but I don't think any of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. But none of those names. I mean, Mark Recchi. I mean, probably, but the NHL Hall of Fame is so tricky. I don't know. I don't even know if it's at the NHL Hall of Fame. Do they have like 6 different Hall of Fames? So I don't know. We went with Randy Johnson.
All right. Both teams receiving points. Nicely done. Yep. The David is Randy Johnson, who was elected to the Hall of Fame in 2015. And the Goliath was Mark Recchi, who was elected in 2017. And Dan, you're exactly right. He won a Stanley Cup in his very last season in the NHL with the Bruins. He had previously won with the Pittsburgh Penguins in 91 and the Carolina Hurricanes in 2006. So well done to both teams. All right. Question 2. David, 1985 Kansas City Royals. Goliath, 1999-2000 Atlanta Falcons.
You mean the 98, 99 Falcons?
Probably.
That was the
Yeah,
team
would have to be.
That was the team. Okay, yeah, sorry.
That was the team that finished 14. Thank you for bringing that up, by the way.
Apologies.
Yeah, it's definitely 98. I remember when they got to the Super Bowl.
Sorry, yes, 98, 99
Okay.
Falcons.
Well,
Apologies.
Dan, I think
You want to say that again? So we have
let's say it again. All right. Question 2. David, 1985 Kansas City Royals. Goliath, 1998-99 Atlanta Falcons.
all right, checking.
Right, technical difficulties. Check in. Scott and Matt, you can talk it out.
Well, it sounds like they have Goliath, so
Yeah.
let's think on this a little bit. Who's on that defense?
Um.
I don't think it's. I mean, Jamal Anderson's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
and
But
Chandler's the QB. They had average receivers.
they had Ray Buchanan.
Yeah, I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame though.
No, I don't think he's a Hall of Fame.
Then they have like
free safety. They had Eugene Robinson, but I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Pretty sure Dan Reeves is a Hall of Famer, but coaches don't.
Yeah,
count.
coaches don't count. So where would this come from? Is it the
So
kicker?
a special
Is it like
teamer?
something
Yeah,
funny
Morton
like that?
Anderson. He was their kicker.
Yeah, I do think he. I mean, I know he
Might
hit a
be.
really clutch field goal in one of their playoff games.
I mean, Morton Anderson's one of those kickers that's been around
I
for
know
a
he was
trillion
around for like.
years.
I think he's in the Hall of Fame.
I mean,
Not my favorite Anderson kicker. That would be Gary, but you know.
I think that's probably our best.
Man has been restraining himself for the whole.
No,
conversation.
I'm not even saying that sarcastically. I prefer Gary to Morton when it comes to Andersons.
Dan's bottom lip is quivering. I'm looking at it right now. You can't see me, but I can see his lip.
I think we go Morton Anderson, man. We got it. We're down. We got it.
Yeah, we're down. We gotta go. We're gonna go Morton Anderson.
All right, we're checking that in again.
All right, Matt and Scott checking in with Morton Anderson. Dan and Mason, your answer?
I was at Canton a week ago
Yes, you
Nice.
were.
at the Hall of Fame, and I was sitting in a theater where we saw just a bunch of like weird memorabilia that the Hall of Fame had. They were showing a bunch of stuff, and before they did that, while people were coming in to sit down, there was a guy up front who was just asking trivia questions. And after 5 in a row, they told me I couldn't answer anymore. So, but one of the questions that they asked was name somebody from outside of the United States that was in the Hall of Fame. And I said Morton Anderson right off the top of my head, who was from Norway. And that was that he was definitely the kicker for the Falcons that year, because it was Anderson versus Anderson. One of them did better than the other that day. So we also checked in Morton Anderson.
All right, Dan and Mason checking in with Morton Anderson, and both teams receiving points. Nicely done. Did not fall for my kicker trap. Well done. Yep, no offensive or defensive players on that Super Bowl losing team are in the Hall of Fame, interestingly enough. All right, cool. Question 3. David, 1993-94 Houston Rockets. Goliath, 2013 Minnesota Lynx.
Oh, geez. Let's go with David then.
All right, Goliath. I mean, we're checking in.
Yeah,
All
we're gonna
right.
check him with 6.
All right.
Oh, wait, wrong quarter. Sorry.
All right, Highway to the Danger Field is checking in, so technical difficulties, you can talk it out.
The more that I think about this, I think that the only person that it could be for the Lynx would be Lindsay Whalen. But I don't
How sure are
remember.
you on that?
I don't remember her being inducted, but
So when did Whalen retire? Do you have any idea on that?
yeah, it was a while the thing is she was the University of Minnesota basketball coach right after she retired from the Lynx. I want to say that may have been 2018. So
do you think she could have maybe got inducted in the last couple of years then?
She has to be the only person on that team that Augustus isn't eligible, and I don't think Maya Moore is. I think she actually ended up playing longer than I thought.
Okay.
So,
all right. It's up to you, Dan.
She's the only person that I can think of that. Well, yeah, I'm going to say yeah, she's in.
Okay.
We're going to say Lindsay Whalen for the Goliath.
All right. Technical difficulties checking in with Lindsay Whalen, Highway to the Dangerfield. What would you come up with?
Yeah, we had almost the exact same discussion back and forth. Scott threw out Katie Smith, and I don't think Katie Smith ever played for the Lynx, but I don't know for sure. Then we talked about Simone Augustus, and my only contributions were Maya Moore and Lindsay Whalen. So, but same as you guys, we don't know for sure. So we said Hakeem Olajuwon for the David.
All right. Both teams receiving points. Nicely done. Yes,
Wow.
The David is Hakeem Olajuwon. If I said 1994-95, it would be Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler, but 93-94 was just Olajuwon. And yep, the Goliath was Lindsay Whalen, who was inducted in 2022, so this past year. And she had a longer career than you would expect. She played from 04 to 18, so she played 14 years, won 4 NBA titles, 5 All-Star teams, 3 All-NBA, all WNBA first team. So yeah, so she had a good career.
Yep.
Yeah, her college career at Minnesota.
I was going to say great college career too.
With, I mean,
yeah.
Who'd she play with before the Lynx?
Connecticut Sun.
Connecticut Sun, right?
Okay,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, she and Taurasi had a big Final Four game against one another. During her time in college. And those two coming out were going to be the next big things.
And Taurasi's still playing. Unbelievable. Yeah. And playing extremely well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Matt, score update heading into halftime.
Oh, that's right. We only have 3 in this round. I forgot about that. Extending their lead, technical difficulties has 290 points. To Highway to the Dangerfield as 190.
Dan and Mason, great job. 3 for 3 on Goliath is impressive.
Yeah, those were difficult Goliaths.
You put 2 of them in my wheelhouse, though.
Yeah, Dan took most of that one.
All right.
You put a team that I've been trying to forget for like the last 20 some years into my head.
All
I just want it on record that I'm not the one that brought that up at all. So. Acknowledgement.
It was me.
I appreciate that, man.
It was me. All right, so that brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 25 points.
All right. For this halftime, I'm going to name a TV character in a professional sports league, and you need to tell me the team in that league that the character is a fan of.
Oh, I like this.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
All right, Dan, you got this. Good luck.
All
I
right.
don't know if I got this, but
all right. Question 1, Joey Tribbiani, NBA.
you check in.
Yeah, we can check in too.
All right. So I guess the Highway to the Dangerfield checked in second, so you can give your answer first.
He's a Knicks fan.
Okay, so the Highway to Dangerfield checks in with the Knicks. And Dan Mason, your answer?
Screw the Knicks. Whoa. It's the Knicks.
Nicely done. Yep, both teams receiving points. It is the Knicks. Probably the most famous instance of his fandom was when he was watching a Knicks game in the waiting room when Ross's ex-wife was having a baby and he got into an argument about the team with a pregnant lady.
Yeah,
That was
With Leah Remini, wasn't it?
Leah Remini. Yeah, yep.
nice. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Nicely done. All right. Question 2. Hank Hill, NFL.
We can check in.
All right. Highway to the Dangerfield, checking in. Technical difficulties. You can talk one out.
Has to be the Cowboys.
That's what I was thinking too. It just would make the most sense for
Right?
the show.
I mean, I you got to think he's a big fan of like Tom Landry or something like that, right? He's
I know. I'm pretty sure he's a Texas Longhorn fan to start off with, like collegiately. I'm pretty sure. So that would make the most sense to me.
Yeah, we're gonna check in with the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Technical difficulties, checking in with the Dallas Cowboys. Highway to the Dangerfield. Your answer.
Yeah, so in one of the episodes, Hank Hill has like a halftime game that he wants to play where he throws a ball into like a thing at a Cowboys game. And so he has what's like a 70s era quarterback, Cowboys quarterback.
What's it, Roger Staubach?
Roger Staubach, yep. And Roger doesn't take off his jacket and he misses the throw. And then he goes like, "Why didn't you make the throw?" And he's like, "Well, it's cold in New Mexico when I throw the ball and I was warming up and whatever." Anyway, yeah, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep. Both teams receiving points. The answer is the Cowboys. Yep. King of the Hill takes place in Arlen, Texas, which I believe is a fictional town, but I'm not positive.
They have a propane and propane accessories.
They
store
do.
there, though.
Yes. Yep. You taste the meat, not the heat.
I
Right.
love Hank Hill.
So
Love
good.
Hank
So
Hill.
good. So good.
I only
ZZ
watch it
Top.
because my wife absolutely loves it and she's watched it 1,000. So I've seen every episode like a dozen times. But
All right. I imagine this will be a quick check-in, but we shall see. All right. Question 3. Red Foreman, NFL.
we'll check in.
Check in.
Right? Mason's got to be the Packers.
Who checked in that quickly? I didn't even get the character.
It's
We
Red
both
Foreman
did.
from that 70s
The
show.
70s show.
Oh, I've never
That-
seen it. So
Red Foreman
it's-
from that 90s
They're
show.
from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
okay, I know that. I just haven't seen the show. But yes.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
sense to
got to
me.
be the Packers.
Yeah, they go to a game and famously
We'll check in the
Whoa,
Packers.
whoa.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Technical difficulties checking in with the Packers. Highway to the Dangerfield. Your answer?
Yeah. What's Topher Grace's character name? I forget. Eric. So yeah, they go to a game and the dad sends them down to gives them money to go get a jersey, and he comes back with the Bears jersey. But yeah, Red is a Packers fan.
Yep. Both teams receiving points. Answer is the Packers. And that 70 show, like you mentioned, takes place in fictional Point Place, Wisconsin.
All right. Well, after halftime, the scores changed, but the difference did not, with both teams sweeping that round. 265 for Highway to the Dangerfield and 365 for technical difficulties.
Now on to the second half.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Today's third quarter will be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 4 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, the answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 25 points. All right, Mason, this is where you and I get to have some fun.
All right, question 1. This 7-time All-Star, 2005 AL batting champ, and current special assistant to the GM for the AL West team he played with for 13 years, also co-led the NFL in scoring in 2020 with 144 points.
But that doesn't make sense to me.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
Oh, you
does.
got
Yes,
it?
it does.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn it. They
Thank
got
you.
it.
This is a name I threw in my head, and I was going to propose this, but it works out. That's the guy.
Oh, that's a name.
That is a name.
All right. Let's check
I
it
mean,
in
if you're
then.
sure about the first half,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure
Well, now I'm really sure.
it would fit. It makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll
All
check
right.
it.
All right, awesome. So, technical difficulties is checking in. Highway to the danger field. Your response? You can talk this one out.
Michael Youngway Koo. That's what we're checking in with.
All right, highway to the danger field. Checking in with Michael Youngway Koo, and Dan and Mason. What did you come up with?
Yeah, Dan came up with the first half because I was struggling with the second half because it would either be a kicker or someone that scored 24 touchdowns, which probably wasn't going to happen. So I'm glad Dan came up with the first half with Michael Young, and Young Wei Koo works really nicely with it in 2020. It's one of his best years, so that would make sense. So we also checked in with Michael Young Wei Koo.
Yep, both teams receiving points. Yep, Michael Young was on the Rangers from 2000 to 2012. And then he jumped around a little bit his last year. He was on both the Phillies and the Dodgers in 2013. Then he retired and joined the Rangers front office in 2014. And Young Wei Koo, as Mason mentioned, had his best year in 2020 with the Falcons, and he co-led the NFL in scoring with Jason Sanders from the Dolphins and Daniel Carlson from the Las Vegas Raiders. Nicely done. Question 2. This 3-time All-Star, 1-time World Series champ, and 2018 NL saves leader set his AFC South franchise's record for passing yards by a rookie QB in 2021.
You want to check that in, Scott?
Yep.
Oh, I see why you're saying
And
that.
listen to these guys talk it out because they're, of course, going to get it when they talk it out.
Yep.
We're going to check this in, Ian.
All right, highway to the danger field is checking in, so that means that technical difficulties can talk this one out.
Does Wade Davis help you with anything?
He would be up there.
He'd be a
2018.
one-time World Series winner. The Royals.
Where did he win his? Oh, yeah,
Royals.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I know he bounced around a lot recently. So you're thinking Davis Mills, I assume, for the second half.
Wade. I'm pretty sure it's Wade Davis.
Okay. Because, I mean, my first thought for the second half was Trevor Lawrence. But obviously nothing really works with that.
Trevor the Vampire.
I feel like, yeah, Wade Davis makes a lot more sense because I couldn't think of anything else. So, all right, I'm good with that.
All right. What were we saying? It's what? Sorry.
Wade Davis Mills.
Wait, thank you. I lost it.
All right, so technical difficulties checking in with Wade Davis Mills. Highway to the danger field, what did you come up with?
Yeah, so I threw out Trevor Lawrence, and it was like, no, I don't think so. And then Scott said Davis Mills, and I said, well, if it's Davis Mills, it has to be Wade Davis then. So Wade Davis Mills.
Yep, both teams receiving points. The answer is Wade Davis Mills. Wade Davis made 3 All-Stars games. He made 2 with the Royals in 2015 and 2016, and then made 1 with the Chicago Cubs in 2017. He won a World Series in 2015 with the Kansas City Royals. Again, a World Series I try to forget. And then he led the NL in saves in 2018 as a member of the Colorado Rockies. Cool. Question.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask if you were gonna ask about walk-off balks.
You mean balk-offs?
Balk-offs. Unfortunately not. Did Wade Davis have a walk-off balk?
No.
Oh.
The Mets did. But
Okay. Yep. Also just shoved into the recesses of my brain. Try not to think about some of these
you
things.
brought up the 98-99.
Yeah. So it's fair. Yeah. All's fair.
Oh, man.
All right. Cool. Question 3. This Venezuelan catcher and 2018 World Series champion finished 4th in the NHL in goals during the 22-23 season with 52, 12 behind his 3-time Hart Trophy winning teammate.
We'll check in.
All right. Highway to the danger field checks in. So technical difficulties, you can talk this one out.
Yeah.
Bother me because I don't know the name of the catcher's first name. The catcher last name is, I guess, Leon.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other part's Leon Draisaitl. Once you sent a different spelling of it, it jogged my memory of who that was. The only The only other catcher I remember from the Red Sox around that time was Christian Vasquez, but obviously that doesn't work. So it's this guy named Leon that I can't remember his first name.
I don't
think this was a person that particularly stood out in any way other than just being on that team. I can't even recall his career, but that's the only thing I can think of that's gonna fit with this.
Yeah, it's got to be someone like that. I don't know who it is though.
I don't.
So
we can just guess a first name.
Pick a first name of a catcher.
No, I'm trying to think of anything. I don't know.
Pudge.
That could be his nickname. We might get away with that.
You say Fudge?
Fun, yes.
Easy.
I'm gonna say maybe a Pudge Leon.
That actually sounds incredible.
I don't have anything. I don't even have a name at this point. So, if you have something better, it's not going to come to me at any point.
I don't know who this person is.
Yeah.
I must have seen him play. I saw the Red Sox play in Minnesota that year, but I don't remember. Didn't make an impact.
All right, well, let's go with Tim Leon. I don't know. It makes it even worse. Sure.
Tim. There's some who call him Tim.
I don't know.
We're gonna go with Pudge Leon.
Draisaitl. We're not gonna get half credit, but at least we know that part.
All right, technical difficulties. Checking in with Pudge Leon Draisaitl. Highway to the Dangerfield. What do you come up with?
This was the most backwards pre and post game ever because Matt got the baseball player and I got the hockey player, which is normally quite the opposite for us. But yeah, I was like, I know they had a defensive specialist at catcher and Matt said Vasquez, Christian Vasquez, but it wasn't him. Right. Then after we started thinking, Matt threw in the chat Sandy Leon, which was a great pull. And then I went, oh, well, then it has to be Leon Draisaitl. So we checked in with Sandy Leon Draisaitl.
Dang it! That's a catcher's first name.
Yes, it
is. One team receiving points. The answer is Sandy Leon Draisaitl. I think both teams pretty much covered it. Sandy Leon split the catching duties with Christian Vasquez for the 2018 Red Sox. It's hard to remember everyone because that team was stacked. Mm-hmm. So the catchers kind of fell a little bit under the radar. I mean, that team had Mookie and JD Martinez and Benintendi and Devers and Bogarts. I mean, that team was unbelievable.
It's not only that too, like now that there's so many teams that do like a almost straight 50-50 split at catcher. Whereas back in the day it was 80-20, like your catcher was your catcher and, you had your Eddie Perez who would go out there and catch a certain guy. But now because it's 50-50, it's so hard to keep track of what year this guy was on what team.
You had your getaway day catcher that played once every 5 days. So.
Yeah, you had your Doug Mirabelli.
Yeah, exactly. Sandy Leon played in 89 games and Christian Vasquez played 80 games. So they split the duties. And then Draisaitl, I mean, just one of the best goal scorers in the league. I think he'd be more of a household name if he didn't play with Connor McDavid. But 55 goals in 21-22, 52 goals in 22-23. And then 50 a few years earlier back in 2018-19. It's pretty surprising that the Oilers haven't had more postseason success, but alas.
Shout out to Scott Barber and Jeffrey Seguritan, who was also there that night when we went out to see the Twins Sox game that night, and the Twins put on a show that night and beat Chris Sale. That was nice.
I wonder which guy was catching.
Wonder. All right. Question 4. This 8-time All-Star and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, who was a first-team All-NBA selection each year from 2007 to 2012, is a 1986 World Series champion with the 4th most home runs in New York Mets history.
Pretty sure it says, Matt.
Love it.
Go with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're checked in.
All right, Highway to the Dangerfield checked in. So technical difficulties, you can talk this one out.
It's going to be Dwight Howard Johnson.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's got to be it. Yep.
Makes sense.
We'll check that in.
All right. Technical difficulties checking in with Dwight Howard Johnson. Highway to the Dangerfield. What did you come up with?
Yeah, I used to live down the street from a Hojo back in 2012. The answer is Dwight Howard Johnson.
Yep. Both teams receiving points. The correct answer is Dwight Howard Johnson. Dwight Howard was an NBA 75 snub. Not really sure how he didn't make that list. Probably politics, but alas. And Howard Johnson had a super underrated career. I mean, three-time member of the 30-30 club, fourth to only Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonds, Alfonso Soriano. Led the NL in home runs in 1991, won 2 World Series. So yeah, he had a great career and had a long Mets stint. Pete Alonso is knocking on that number 4.
I was going to say,
position,
Pete Alonso's
though. Yeah,
got to be getting there.
He's like right there. Yeah, I think he's like about 13-ish home runs away.
If he sticks around, he'll catch Strawberry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because right now it's first is Strawberry, and then Wright, then Piazza, then Howard Johnson, then Pete Alonso. So Pete Alonso, if he extends and stays with the Mets, which I'm hoping he does, he can definitely reach that.
Seriously.
I think it's like 80 more home runs or something. So it's only like a couple more really good seasons, and then you can get there.
I mean, really, what's money to the Mets, right?
I know,
Right.
with Uncle Steve. Yeah. All right. Matt, score check heading into the fourth quarter.
Sure. Well, Highway to Dangerfield made up a little bit of ground, 365 going into the fourth quarter, but technical difficulties still has 440.
That's how we do this, Matt. 365.
Mm-hmm.
We did that a while ago.
All right.
It seems like it.
Now on to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
Today's fourth quarter categories are Dennis, which pertains to NBA, Charlie, which is college football, Mac, which is NFL, and D, which is MLB. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question 1 in Dennis, NBA. Hall of Fame guard and NBA 75 snub Dennis Johnson started at LA Harbor College for 2 years before transferring to this current West Coast Conference school. He's the only alum of this school to be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
All right, well, we're going to check in.
All right, technical difficulties checking in. So Matt and Scott, you can talk this one out.
I think
thought
you're right, Matt.
I thought I remember him going to Pepperdine.
I think you're right. It makes sense. It's very close to LA Harbor College. You wouldn't have had to go far. So that makes a ton of sense. I'm good with it.
We're going to check in with that for 91 points.
All right, Highway to the Dangerfield checking in with Pepperdine for 91 points. Technical difficulties. What did you come up with?
Yeah, it's Pepperdine. We checked in for 72 points, which coincidentally, anyone who was born in 1972 may have been graduated from high school in 1991.
That. All right, both teams receiving points. The correct answer is Pepperdine. Question 2 in Charlie, college football. In 2014, Charlie Weiss went 3-9 overall and 1-8 in conference play in his final season as head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks. Weiss's lone conference win came against Iowa State on November 8th, 2014, which then freshman and current NFL player who had a career-high 788 receiving yards in 2022 and will be playing for a new team this season, had 5 catches for 70 yards for Iowa State in the loss.
We'll check in.
All right, technical difficulties checking in. Highway to the Dangerfield. You can talk this one out.
We don't have to. This is someone that Matt's seemingly on a first name basis with, because that's all he sent me initially. And I was like, who the hell's Alan in my head?
Yeah, I was having a tough time remembering his last name. Yeah, Alan Lazard. Played for Jacksonville, then with the Packers, and now next year he's playing with the Jets. And he famously, I think he has most of the receiving records at Iowa State. And he was there at about that time, so I thought there's no one else it could be. So we checked in for 91 points with Alan Lazard.
All right, Highway to Dangerfield checking in with Alan Lazard. Technical difficulties. What did you come up with?
Yeah, I basically kind of try to put everything together. First Iowa State receiver I could think of was Alan Lazard, just off the top of my head. And it seemed to make sense because I'm pretty sure he got drafted around 17, 18, somewhere in there. Switching teams this year, it all seemed to kind of fit. So we also went with Alan Lazard for 73 points.
Both teams receiving points. The correct answer is Alan Lazard. Yeah, he played for Iowa State. As Matt said, he had most of the receiving records for the Cyclones. Was undrafted, was a practice squad member, I believe, for the Jaguars, and then caught on with the Packers. Was there from 2018 to 2022, and now he is on the Jets. Question 3 in MAC for NFL. With 9 touchdowns in 2021 and 2 touchdowns in 2022, who's the only player to have caught 10 NFL touchdown passes for Mac Jones?
We're going to check in.
All right. Technical difficulties is checking in. So Matt and Scott, you can talk this one out.
You want to go with Hunter Henry?
Let's do it.
We're going to check in with Hunter Henry for 91 points.
All right. Scott and Matt are checking in with Hunter Henry for 91 points. Dan and Mason, what do you come up with?
Yeah, so I just started naming a bunch of receivers and
The
tight ends.
receivers don't catch touchdowns.
Right, that's the problem. So Jacoby Myers, I think, had too many this last year. He had more than 2, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think he had 9 the year before that, though.
No.
His whole thing was he didn't catch them.
Right. Devontae Parker doesn't work because he's only played with the team for 1 year. Yeah, Nelson Aguilar the year before, right? It's a lot of bad names. But yeah, the first name I sent today was Hunter Henry. He has played for the team for 2 years. I remember the first year is pretty solid, so it seemed to make sense. So checked in with Hunter Henry for 73.
All right, both teams receiving points. The correct answer is Hunter Henry. Not much flavor text there. The Patriots receiving core the past 2 years have just not been very good.
Score update before we go into the fourth question here, the fourth quarter. So technical difficulties has 658, and Highway to the Danger Field has 638. So only 20 points difference.
All right, we got a game. All right. Question 4 in D, MLB. In 2015, D. Gordon won the NL Gold Glove Award at second base while playing for the Miami Marlins. Name one of the other 2 NL second base Gold Glove finalists that season. Hint, neither played in Gordon's division.
We'll check in.
Right. Matt and Scott checking in. Dan and Mason, you can talk it out.
We came up with 2 names right off the bat
We both did.
that are not in the NL East. I'm just trying to think if there's any other names. Yeah, my first thought was Brandon Phillips because he was a big name right around there.
I like that. I said LeMahieu, but
Right, tugging at my heartstrings, but I don't hate either one of those. I like Phillips better.
I do too.
I wouldn't be surprised if both of them are right.
Let's go with Phillips then.
Yeah, because I was thinking of 2015 second baseman Brandon Phillips. First names I can think of. He was pretty big then.
Plus, you've owned the fourth quarter this game, so
Okay, so we'll go with Brandon Phillips for 73.
All right. Technical difficulties checking in with Brandon Phillips for 73 points. Matt and Scott, you can talk this one out.
No, we had a.
Oh,
Yeah, we checked in. We don't even talk.
you checked in. Sorry.
We checked in with DJ LeMahieu for 91 points.
All right. Both teams are receiving points. Dan and Mason, you're exactly right. Yep. The 2 other finalists were DJ LeMahieu of the Colorado Rockies and Brandon Phillips of the Cincinnati Reds. The game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. Highway to the Danger Field finishes with 729 points. And our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Davis Mills Award with 731 points, is technical difficulties.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
We
All right.
lost to someone who's not even on camera.
Well, I'll say thank you to Ian for coming on, writing games. I think you're the most prolific game writer and host of all of our, non-bench warmers, of our guests, right? I don't think anyone else has done. How many have you done now? 3 or 4?
My 4th,
This
I
is
think.
4.
This is your 4th.
Yeah.
and that's because we brought David Lux on.
Yeah, because he was more prolific. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, we don't talk. We'll let you talk. So is there anything that you want to hype or bump or promote or
Bump.
You want to talk more about
Bump something from
Yeah.
earlier in the episode.
Oh man,
Yeah, exactly. Want to talk more about your Mets or no?
I doubt he wants to do
not much
that.
to talk about the Mets right now. Fire sale was not super fun. Nothing to promote. Just thank you for having me on. It's always so much fun to write these questions, and I'm glad you all enjoyed.
All right.
We did.
You want to take us out? Go ahead and take us out.
Sounds good. Yep. On behalf of Matt, Dan, Scott, Mason, and myself, we'd like to say thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.